Hello, everyone, and welcome back to, or welcome to, if you're new, my channel, Erin Twibbles Around Aimlessly. I'm Erin, and my husband and I are on a debt-free journey to pay off all of our $46,000 of consumer debt in 2021. And so I started this channel actually as a part of a workplace leadership challenge in the leadership workshops that we are undergoing, and also using it just as a form of accountability for our journey as well. So a little bit of a different video today. I am doing my budget check-in, but if you've kind of been keeping up with my previous videos, you'll know that I have not been feeling particularly well lately. In fact, I've had another hospital trip. Was there for a couple of days yet again. I've just got some really bad neuropathy going on with my hands shaking. So I decided that I'm going to film this using my my budget worksheet that I've created in Excel. So I'm going to be working in my February worksheets, but just kind of showing a quick overview of what this looks like. So I do have an entire spending tracker. So all of my expenses that I have do go into all of the different boxes. And then as well, I have basically everything that you would find on a budget mom worksheet and then a little bit more. So I have our income, I've added additional lines. I have what our fixed bills are, all the over carryover, our envelopes, our sinking funds, our extra debt, our leftover. It's a work in progress, so you're still going to see sometimes my formulas and such are showing, but I've kind of been working on piecing it together, and I had to get something out and filmed. I've kind of been putting things off. Full trackers down at the bottom as well, and I'll show you how I then have this feed in overall to my master sheet as well. So I have a master sheet for all of my February expenses where I pull the data from each of these worksheets and I put it into that master sheet. Let's go ahead and let's get started of how I am electronically tracking our budget, which I'll then be able to transfer over onto a piece of paper because I still like writing things down. I don't know why. It just really helps to commit things to memory, I guess, for me, and then print that off and I'll put it into my happy planner. So this is from the 3rd, from Wednesday, the 3rd of February until Tuesday, the 9th of February. I go Wednesday to Thursday because that ties along with our paychecks. We get paid on Tuesday, whole new budget starts on Wednesday. So I have everything that was put in for what we expected to have. So our usual pay. I have decided to start doing a rollover. This was a change that I made from January, trying to track and close out and carry over what was being paid by a paycheck for bills that were coming up in the next 2 weeks was really just doing my head in. And so I decided I'm just going to carry that over into the next week. That way everything can be closed out at the end of the week. Everything can be closed out at the same time. So we were looking at a total income we had budgeted for 2,461. The usual suspects of the pool, private health cover, our mortgage, our weekly mortgage payment, and our weekly loan payment. And then I also, for Valentine's Day, the caring wife that I am, got my husband an eighth of a beast, which is 1/8 of a steer. He's a very big carnivore. We decided that this will help us modify our weekly grocery budget. I hope delivery has been made, and even he's still going, it'll last me a couple months. Well, you're going to make it last more than a couple months, mister. You don't need to have steak for dinner every night. So the deposit for that, and this was just from a local farmer, was $175. And then this week ended up paying that off. So we had planned for $743, but this was an additional expense. So this one I had that extra money because we didn't have an electric bill again. And so we had that $400. That's part of what went towards this, along with some of our money from our Roundup challenge as well. So we had planned for 743 and we spent 838. For our cash envelopes, look at this. I pretty much ate, I even had $10 left over in my grocery fund. Now, how I track cash envelope spending, actually how I track a lot of this is done through my spending tracker. So again, this mimics exactly what the Budget Mom worksheet is. I have created a table with categories, and then I have lookups for all of those here. So whenever I enter something in, so we'll just come up with kind of a vague little expense here just because I've got an open space. So say on the 3rd of February, $10, say I spent it at Kohl's. It was for groceries and I used cash. So you can see over in my grocery area that automatically updated my actual from 340 to 350. So if I take this out, it drops back down to 340. As much as I love math and I love numbers, this is great because when I'm doing my pen and paper, I always make mistakes. I usually end up having 3 or 4 different drafts that I have to print off, and toner is not cheap. So go ahead and I will delete that out. And then everything is still color coded as well. So we can tell by looking at things, it was, even though because I was in hospital, a lot spent on health. And I can actually go through and I can just pull up by category. And I also have a category subtotal. So if I didn't have all of these lookup, I'd be able to get the subtotal here, 255, and then I would be able to jump over onto the side and put that number in as well. My health always come from a digital envelope, kind of half a sinking fund-ish. It's a bastardization of a digital cash envelope and a sinking fund because some months I don't really have any medical health beauty costs. Other months like this, ooh, not holes, that was Kohl's. Don't need to be buying no holes. I put what the actual amount was because I do my roundup challenge. So I round up to the nearest 1, 5, or 10. Then I put the additional money over here. It totals it for me. So all of our health this week was $255, and that was about $30. I had $225 budgeted. Yeah, $30 over what we had budgeted. So I'm gonna have to take some money out from somewhere. Our other big expense was a grocery. So go ahead and clear off. You can see quite a lot of different grocery trips, a lot of cash given to my my husband. I did have some miscellaneous as well. So this is where I took that money from the cash envelope. This is the February Budget Mom Challenge, had that. So 340 out of 350 on groceries. Yay! Came under. It did not include the cost of the Beast though. The Beast, we just did that as a separate, I put it under expense. If it works out, it's going to become something planned that we just start saving up for, even if we move up to, say half a cow. So grocery looked good. Fuel, not too bad this week on fuel, $125 that was spent there. And again, I wasn't driving, but you can see, still our cost per liter is just yuck. Then transport. So we had actually quite a few transport expenses. $105, one for toll, the other 2 for hospital parking. It is the most annoying thing in the world to me that we have paid parking at hospitals. It just makes no sense at all. So these were from the days that my husband came to visit after dropping me off. I did have to go in through the emergency department. And so this one on the 9th, that was on my discharge day. This was only for an hour and a half of parking. This was for about an hour of parking. He just came to visit for a little bit. He's not one for sticking around. So we actually were using that transport fund as well. So you can see all of those numbers automatically updated. $70 for miscellaneous. Now, a lot of times people ask, oh, how come you don't do a lot of fast food? Well, aside from the fact that I don't like it because it's nasty, it's also the cost. On the 7th, so on the way in, my husband, I knew he was going to get hungry if we're sitting in the emergency department all day. So we stopped and we got him Macca's. Macca's is McDonald's. So he, got a like a large meal or whatever there, and it was $27. So I don't do fast food because it gets expensive. On discharge, him and my son, they opened up a Taco Bell near us, and I loved Taco Bell back in the States. I haven't eaten there I haven't eaten there in 10 years. And I only just got a small thing of chips and nacho sauce because you cannot find that processed yellow nacho sauce anywhere here in Queensland or Australia. And I swear if I could buy it by the tub from them, I would. And then my husband and my son, they each got meals, and that one came to $35. So 2 trips for fast food in 1 week was, came out to $70. And so since I've been good on the grocery, this is why when I say that I give my husband $150 per week, and I just anticipate that it's going to be gone, it is because it's just that bloody expensive here to go through fast food and fuel and just everything. Cost of living in Australia is quite high. So that's the basic process. We had our, weekly loan payment, weekly mortgage payment, spend money for bills, money for the beast. We did have an extra deposit because we did switch banks. They gave us a $50 welcome to, Westpac. And I went, thank you. And I put that, if you watched my Transfer Tuesday, I put that to our credit card just for the extra credit card payment. So that was $240. And again, those we had planned for our envelopes, 1,283. We ended up spending 690, and that's because a lot of these values just kind of carry over. So I did carry over the fuel, the transport, and the dogs. I'm actually cutting that down for next week, leaving us 1,158 left over. Transferred over 225 for help, used 255. I suppose I could take some money from up here to cover it. I might do that because, as you can see, we're over budget by $40 here. So that was leaving us some additional, so $903 of that, $242 the credit card, $45 to the challenge, so I'm going to have that $180 for digital envelopes going into week 2. It's the other reason that I like using an Excel sheet is I can easily change my mistakes. And then I must have had like a 5 or something floating around that was missing, but anyways, $40, so clearly $30 here, and then I think this $10 that I can carry over, that's going to balance that. And then I keep track of everything. So because I do at the end of the month do a where did I spend my money, and that is what I have down here at the bottom. So for the week, this was everything that was spent in those kind of key areas of mortgage, our debt, including our extra debt payment. So what our contractual payment is, what our extra, how much went to savings, how much went to expenses. And then again, I have everything combined together along with our envelopes and our sinking funds. Envelopes and sinking funds are broken out here and here. And the reason that I have that is because I am working on this sheet, which is ugly right now. It's in process, but all of those feed automatically over to here. So income, bills, envelopes, sinking funds, and then I will have one that is broken out down here for groceries, for household, blah, blah, maintenance, all of that. And then that will be my week to week comparison, and then month to month comparison as well. So that's in the works to get that done. And so, how I know that I'm over 101%, I can't have spent more money than I had. Well, technically I could because we have a cushion, but not that. I see how much is going, what percentage is going to envelope, 25.69%, or how much is going to savings. So we got about 26% going to savings, just under 10% to extra debt, plus 10% here. So about, 19% going to extra debt, 14% going to mortgage. So this is where, if you're, tracking those estimated ranges that you can be in, that is going to be tracking that for me. So it's a nice kind of all in one place. I started working on 2, made one slight change where I put the date in. So this is where I'm, changing things time by time. Week 3, I haven't started entering anything yet. And week 4, and I go all the way up to 5 weeks. Ooh, haven't cleared that one out yet, but in case it's a 5 week. And then I have templates, as I said, for those. I'm making the templates, and then I just start all over again, make small modifications to the formula. I did have a couple of no spend days, so I have a new unicorn tracker for the month. We had 2 no spend days this week as well, and surprise, surprise, those 2 no spend days were because I was in hospital, and then I had to do a few big grocery shops because I had to replace all of my fruit and veg. So that is the check-in for the week that was the first week in February. Overall, disrupted, yes, that's my life, but turned out pretty darn good because I stayed within budget, even with a miscellaneous spend, even with buying that fast food, even with going over in health, trying out a lot of new different prescriptions and quite a lot of really yucky things that are going on. But my doctors, my team, they are getting it sorted, and I will be right as rain in no time. So it's like change up to things. So I'm probably, gonna have these check-ins posted now on Sundays, and I'm not sure if I'll keep Thursdays for anything at all, if I'm going to continue to do our paycheck budgeting, because really they're kind of boring, but I don't know. We'll see. It's going to depend how I'm feeling. And then Friday, kind of like those bigger ones of net worth and monthly closeouts, usually, kind of anything I want to talk about kind of thing. And that reminds me, I have a question for you. So I was starting to work on, February 2, week 2, and one of the things I was wondering is, when do you pay a bill? So my regos are not due until the 1st of March for our 2 cars. And hello, welcome to the cost of vehicle registration in Queensland, Australia. That is for 2 cars, same cylinder size, different years. It's all based off of cylinder size. It's a video in and of itself explaining that difference. But then we also just got our utility bill as well. That's not due until April. We have the money to pay it now. So I'm wondering when, other than bills that you have automatically transferred out, when you receive a bill, when do you pay that bill? Do you pay it on the day that you receive the invoice, or do you pay it on a couple days before it is due? Because this would make a big difference in paying some things. It could have up to a month impact for me. Whereas I could pay these now this week. I've got the money for it. I could pay that utility bill now, and then I won't have it in April. I'll still be saving up the extra money that goes into the sinking fund. Let me know what you do in the comments down below. If you have any other comments about anything, just ask questions down there. Any comments that you need to have. As always, remember to choose kindness, show gratitude, and always keep a positive mindset. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.